Hi everyone. This video is meant to show you some basics in using the library's book catalog online. To access the catalog, you want to log into MyCCP. If you try to go directly to the library's homepage without logging in to MyCCP, you may not have access to all of the electronic collections, which is really what you want to have access to, especially now. So once you're logged in, go to Student Quick Links. Scroll down on the left and you'll see library, so choose that. And that takes us to the library's homepage. There's a number of options here. I'm going to do a very simple search just using what's called summon search. I'm going to just at random type in cholera and see what comes up. Now you can see there's many results, and that's because I have not refined the search with any filters. For the purposes of finding books, you certainly want to choose library catalog. That gives you the access to the library's collection. If you're looking for ebooks in particular, you want to have full text online. That tells the search engine you want books that you have access to, not just sometimes it's just a description of the book and you don't have access to the actual contents. I'm going to leave library catalog this way for a minute. There's also different content type. The reason we had so many hits before is because it was including journal articles and newspaper articles and things that are not books. So I'm going to select books to make sure we only have those coming up. And that gets us down to a little over 300 hits. Now, a lot of these are going to be medical and so on. Some of them are going to be more like history books. It's the kind of thing we've been doing in class. So take this one as an example of an electronic book that's available to you. Here's a picture of the book's title and author. You have the options to read it online or to download it. More usefully, you have the option of downloading just chapters at a time, which is going to save time and save computer space as well if you're planning to download. So you can see it has the table of contents, and each of these is a hot link that takes you to that chapter of the book. Of course, there's also a description of the book to give you a sense of what's in it before you start downloading or reading anything. And that gives you kind of a summary. Very handily, it has ways to cite both MLA and the style that I've showed you, APA style. And that's for an ebook. I want to show you as well what it looks like when you find an entry to a book that the library actually has. And I've got one ready here. So this is an actual print book in the library about an outbreak in London. So you have the title, you have your author, the year of publication. This also shows you where the book is in the library. I'm gonna click on this to get more information first. Okay, so this tells you that the book is available, meaning that nobody else has it checked out. It's in the main campus library. If it were at one of the branch libraries, it would also tell you that. It gives you the call number, which is how you find the book on the shelf. Actually, this is the Dewey Decimal System that our library uses. You want to be sure to remember that the numbers after the decimal point are in decimals. They're not in straight numerical order. In other words, 614.5 is going to come after 614.514 is going to come after 614.4 and before 614.6. Wow. Didn't think that was going to be so hard to get out. But just remember, I'm saying this because a lot of my students in 102 classes, even though they understand decimals, they kind of forget when they get in the stacks and they try looking for the books in numerical order instead of decimal order. It is the case, in fact, that a lot of books about epidemiology are in the 614s in the library on the shelves. This also gives you information about the book in terms of a description. It gives you the Library of Congress subject heads that it falls under. If the library had access to other books that fall into the same category, you could click on this and see what they are. It gives you the bibliographic information, the place, the publisher, and year. The other thing that you can do in this in these cases is when you've got the option of virtual browse, that allows you to literally browse the shelf online. So here's the book we were looking at. Here's the book that comes before it on the shelf. Here's the book that comes after it on the shelf. Browsing the shelf can be very handy in research because obviously the books on the same subject are going to fall together on the shelf. So the books that book you were looking for may be right next to a book that is just as useful. And here, of course, is our friend Gina Colada on the shelf. So that is how you can find books. It's what the catalog entries look like. I encourage you to browse around, to noodle around if you're not familiar with it. Something I also want to show you is what's called Boolean searching, and this can be very handy for doing searches online as long as the search engine uses Boolean searching, and many of them do. So if you're looking for a particular topic, you can help define it by the word "and." So suppose we're looking for typhoid, but we really only want history books about typhoid. We don't want medical books. So we can type typhoid and history, and that will bring up all the entries that have both of those words in it and is more likely to get you to history books. Another thing that can be useful sometimes for a quick search in the catalog is to add the word encyclopedia if you want to see if there's just a general encyclopedia. So you could type, say, disease and encyclopedia, and that would bring up encyclopedias. And the library has a number of those. The word "or" can be used if you are if you have a keyword that has synonyms that are common. So, for example, you might be looking for books on the flu, but you also realize that some of the books might use the word influenza. And putting in the "or" lets the search engine know that you'll take either one of those, flu or influenza. The word "not" is useful if you are working with a keyword that often has other associations that are not relevant to your research. So suppose you're looking for virus, but you don't want computer viruses, so you can type in virus not computer. And if the search engine uses Boolean search terms, it will knock out any entries that have the word computer in them. The quotation marks are for phrases. So if I'm looking for the Spanish flu, and I put in quotation marks, that tells the search engine I want this phrase just like the Spanish flu. If I do it without the quotation marks, I'm likely to get all the entries that have either the word Spanish or the word flu in them, and that's not what I want, and that's going to really give me too many hits. So that's the library catalog. That's how to find books. One of your assignments after this video is to find some books on things related to our course, and that assignment is in the same module that you found this video. So good luck with that. Let me know if you have questions by emailing me or sending, by emailing me. I guess that's what we're down to now. And best of luck with that.